Um, anyway, welcome to the menu presentation for the new restaurants and the new space in IP. We're waiting currently on some pamphlets, handouts. They're on the way. They should be in here shortly, and when they get here, they'll be distributed around. You'll actually have a handout that you can kind of, go along the presentation, and so you can kind of keep up with it as we're moving forward. We also emailed you, if you have an email account, you received a link to the menus that are being presented today. So you should be able to see those within your email. We also, if you prefer, we happen to have a QR code at the back table. There's 3 of them there. So you could hit that with your camera, and you would bring up these menus so you can see exactly what we're going to present. And those are great because they're in color as well. You can blow them up and read them at your leisure. So those are in your box as well as back on the QR code. I'm going to open it up and let everyone know that's watching at home. There are 2 telephone numbers here that you can call. The text is for Gretchen's phone. She'll be accepting text messages with any questions you may have from home, and she will present that question here at the meeting. I will repeat the question because I heard some comments regarding they wanted to repeat the question, even though we thought they could hear him well on the microphone earlier today, but apparently not. So I will repeat your question when they're asked inside. Also, there's another number to call. So if residents from home would like to call instead, we have a person that will text that same question that they ask about to Gretchen, and then Gretchen will then ask the question live. Oh, and our pamphlets have arrived, so they'll start distributing those right now. We've got Chris going out on one side, Maria and Gloria going out on others. So as they come around, please just raise your hand and they'll hand you a pamphlet that has the menus that we're going to show here today. And if I'm going too fast, just say, Mark, slow down. Because I have a tendency to talk fast, and I don't mean to do so. I walk fast, talk fast, and that's not always a good thing. Anyway, as they're passing these out, what you have in the packet are the menus for each of the 3 new venues in the Inspirata Pointe building. That is Copper Skye, the Indigo Kitchen, and Azul. In the packet, there's also photos. They're black and white, or done with just black ink, so you won't be able to see the color photos in the pamphlet that's going out, but you'll see them on the screen. You'll also see them if you select the link that went to your email account, or if you choose to use the QR code at the back. You'll see those too. There's color photos. So as we present the menus, there's a couple of pictures for each venue at the end of those menus, and I'll explain that as we go through the process. Something I want to make sure that we talk about, and I talked about earlier today, we've decided to do something a little different with the dining dollars based on residents' requests over the years. We've been paying attention. We just haven't figured out a way to make it happen until we're getting into this stage right now. What we're going to do is allow residents to use your dining dollar account for not only your meals, but guests in all dining venues. Okay, now, thank you very much. We're really happy about that. That means, and it will begin when we open up the new venues, which you're looking at right here, these menus you have in your hands. So that'll be sometime in late April, May, I'm assuming. As things go, I'm going to say late April. Well, May, somewhere in there. But when we open those dining venues, we will start that process. So no matter where you eat on campus, you can use your dining dollars for yourself and the guests, just as we have done in the grill for almost forever, right, since the grill opened up. We think that's going to give you an opportunity to really flex your dining dollars the way you'd like to do it, and invite guests in to let them see what you're able to experience on a regular basis. However, you do not have to put your guests on your dining dollar account. You can choose to say no, pay for your own. Just saying, you have the option, okay? But we also know that, a lot of times, family will come in and it's like, I don't want them having to spend anything or whatever, and I want to buy the meal. That's your choice. It is your choice. Anything on your dining dollar account, as you know, is not taxable. If it goes to your overage account or your house account, it is taxable. So there's the difference on that piece, okay? So now I think we're about ready. I hate saying but I think Maria's got a sheet back there for me with some questions that were from earlier this morning on the morning meal. What I'd like to do on the morning meeting, what I'd like to do is go over those, so that we cover all the questions that happened earlier, and then it may take care of some questions you may have on your mind as we're going through the process. So first of all, it had to do with the Copper Skye menu that we're going to be showing. It says, is a dairy-free cheese available for the pizza? The chef has not decided that as of yet. We have done some investigation, but we're not ready to commit to doing that at this point. If it ever does come to fruition, they will give you plenty of notice. But at this time, the answer is no. When we get into the menu, it's also talking about there's $1 in the toppings under pizza. Is that per topping for any, or is that $1 for all the toppings underneath that category? I say, well, if you can find all those toppings for $1 anywhere, tell me, and I will go buy them for us. So no, the answer is it's $1 per item. The other one was, can we order a pizza by the slice? The answer is no, but it is the size of the pizza that we're going to be having will be personalized. Well, you can probably get 2. You can share. It's a pizza size for 2. It's about 12 by 8, roughly is the size of it. It's an oblong type pizza, so it's pretty close. So you can probably get 2 people to share it, take some of it home, but it's not one of those but by the slice. However, if you have a big appetite, it might be by the slice for you. For me, it might be. And the other says, can we order just a plain cheeseburger? The answer is not in this venue. We have burgers that are set up. They're specialty burgers. We will have that availability in the grill, and we'll continue to expand on the menu with the grill as we're moving forward. So the items that are being prepared and set on these menus, for what you see, is the way they come. We spent a lot of time working on the menus together, so we really would like to maintain the menu the way they are. There's certain things that you can say, no, I want to do this or I want to change this. Not a problem. But as far as just a regular burger, you can ask without something, and you could get that, but we prefer not to build your own burger. It's not the area that is set up to do that. Also, it says, is lunch available in the Copper Skye? As I pull up the menus, you'll see there's a luncheon menu to begin with. You look at the inside underneath the heading, it gives the time of day, and that will be a luncheon menu, and then there's also a dinner menu. Copper Skye is the new lounge in the space over there, the new sports lounge that you've heard about, if you're not sure about what the Copper Skye is. The next questions had to do with the Indigo kitchen menu, which you have in your hand there. It says, are all the items a la carte in IP? The answer is yes. Everything is a la carte priced and will remain so in the near future. It says, why has the soup doubled up in price? Well, a lot of that has to do with the cost of products in and of itself. The cost of labor has an impact across the board. We're still marginally quite a bit less than out in the marketplace. The size of our cups of soup are approximately a 10-ounce soup cup with about 8 ounces of soup within that cup. Will there be any transportation arrangements to the new building and from the new building to here? The answer is yes to both. We are setting up a transportation schedule. It will be introduced prior to the opening of the new building and letting people know where we're going to be at, assigned stops. We also have a 9-passenger tram that we just purchased that will be part of that transportation mechanism. So as we go through this, you will have transportation if you're unable to do that. But we also have several golf cart spaces and parking spaces over in that area for you to go. So if you want to go, you're in your golf cart and take a friend with you, or want to drive over, there are some parking spaces that are available for that. So there is plenty of space for you to get there. I personally think after you're done eating, you're going to want to walk. I know that I will. That's why I wanted to take a nap when I was done with lunch today. A walk would have done me well, other than just walking to here. The other thing we have is, do you have to make reservations? Reservations for Indigo Kitchen, the answer is no. We all know how the reservation program went over here, right? Yeah, not so much. So what we're going to do is we will have reservations as far as Azul goes. Azul is the fine dining restaurant that is in that building. There will be reservations accepted for that and expected as well, and the times of dinner for that particular building, and that dining space is from 4 to 8 p.m. We're going to open up originally 3 days a week in Azul, and that will go Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the beginning. If we see that we need more days, we will add them. We have no problem doing so. We just want to make sure that we're able to get at least some of the items in and get them ready at the time we open. Another question that came up for Indigo, are portions available small or large? The answer to that is no. The menu's designed as this is the size, this is the order, this is the price. We found that in that dining space, it will be operating like a restaurant. If you walked in, sat down, I ordered a burger, whatever's left you can get to go, and it won't be going in styrofoam containers like we have today. They will be in nice plastic containers that you can do. We will have those available for that space, but they will not go into the white styrofoam that we've been going or have using all the last couple of years. I think we're all pretty much had our fill of the white styrofoam. I know we have, and I'm sure you have. But we'll see what we can do as far as what container we're going to put out. I'm almost caught up with the questions here, and then we'll start going into the menu presentation. Will takeout be available? Yes, if you have any, let's put it this way, any of your leftover stuff will be able to go into the go container and take it with you. As far as ordering for takeout, that won't be the case in the beginning. As we move forward, we will certainly try to move that into it, but first let's get the table service all up and running and operational the way it should before we start into going out and having takeout orders. We want to make sure the interior operates first and then worry about items to go. Can we have a copy of the survey that was done 5 years ago where it listed the food preferences? My answer to that is no, because there's more than just that in the survey. However, I'd be more than happy to have one-on-ones with people and go over the survey information we received regarding the food's likes and dislikes and what people's preferences were when the survey was taken. I think that's a more reasonable opportunity for people to understand where it came from and how the survey was taken. Is the buffet still going to be available even after the new IP venues open? The buffet meaning in the current Oak Room, the answer is yes to that. And as a matter of fact, we're going to extend the grill hours after that, and they will go from till 6 o'clock. So the items that you're stopping right now at 1:30, I think, of the grill, they will actually go until 6 p.m. once IP opens. So you'll have the buffet and you'll have the grill items going until 6, okay? That's going to keep that options available for you, still have more opportunity for people to come down and get those things, which is really what a lot of people are looking for. Are private rooms available, meeting rooms available in IP? The answer is yes. We have a couple of rooms over there that are available. It's called the education room. I think it's Mojave. Isn't that what it is, Kendra? I think it's the Mojave room. It's available. It's called an education room, and that's at the front of the building. When you come in the lobby space just to the left, there's an education room there that's built and set up for different types of events. Could be a catered event, could be an educational class. So there are ways to do that, and you can go online and you'll be able to reserve that space, just like you do in any other room. We can reserve those with NADA and put them on the space for reservations, okay? Will there be a presentation for future opening venues like Sunray, Wild Cactus, and so on? What we're doing here is we're recording the presentation here for all of this, and so later on, we're gonna do another one when it comes to the opening for the new venues that are being remodeled. We'll do another presentation before that time. Menus will be presented, meal plans will be put up, so you can see that, and that will also be recorded for future residents moving in as well. Because a lot of times people move in and they have no idea how the programs work, how dining dollars work, how all that stuff works. So we'd like to keep it for future as well. Makes it a real easy program to do and teach people on the processes. Let's see, can we get a copy of the new menus? There's a pack back there right now. You have an email that went to everyone's email account. If you have an email, you'll have a link that gets you right to that. And again, if you would like to use your telephone to do the QR code, that will give you that as well. Are kitchen tours available, or will they be available for IP? The answer will be yes. We're still doing tours here. As a matter of fact, the next tour I have for this kitchen will be on Wednesday the 22nd. And so that's available still for sign up. I think I only have about 6 people so far signed up for the tour, but you're welcome to go on. And the way to do that is go to the resident portal, go to calendar, events, type in kitchen, and then you'll get your information on the kitchen tour, and then you can sign up for yourself, and only one slot at a time. We usually do only 12 people, only for safety reasons. at a time to be able to get through the kitchen area so they can see what's going on. And those tours last from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. After the first 30 minutes, we come out, we sit down, and we have a Q&A that's very open to any questions you may have. And at times, with me talking as much as I do, it's lasted for 45 minutes instead. So just shut me up and tell me to, I got other things to do, Mark. And then we'll get on about it. Okay, so now we'll get into the actual menus that you're going to see, what's going on with the menus you have in your hand. And these are the actual menus that will be printed and put in the various locations. And Nada's trying to record this at the same time, so I'm trying to get the size up with her and get her lined up so everybody gets a good shot of the menu. So this menu, as you see, is the Copper Skye, and that's the luncheon menu from 11 to 3. When we roll into the next menu, I think you're going to see, well, it looks the exact same. Well, it pretty much is, other than the appetizer and or salad type items that are on here. So when we go into it, you'll see that. In each of the menus, you're going to see a V by whether it's a vegetarian option, or you'll see a chili pepper by for spicy. We're going to try to carry that out through all of our menus campus-wide. So you have a good indication of whether it's an item that's either spiced or it may just be for, it's got a lot of vegetables in it. We're not going to go vegan or vegetarian. We're not going to say that that's necessarily what it is, but when you look at that V, that's your expectation, that it's strictly going to be a vegetarian type option. But we want people to try these things because they're a lot better than a lot of people think they are when you mix it all together. Also, you can always add a protein to it and make it whatever you want. So there's a lot of different options with this. And here's your burgers and the pizzas. Chef Paul and his crew today were over at Southwest Gas, learning how to use the pizza oven, that they happen to have one at Southwest Gas, that they were able to let his crew come in and test our dough that they make here on site and see how well it went out there. And I think from what I understood from the earlier meeting, it went very well. They were there yesterday and they were also there today. And so it's nice to have Paul back for the afternoon. Right now he's being shy. Trust me, he's normally not that way. Give him a minute, he'd take this mic, no problem. Trust me. There you go. Yeah, you're ready for a nap too, right? So the chili burger is I mean, everything we have on this menu is taken us, it's about a year to produce the entire menu. The first time, and I say first time because when Paul and his crew created the menu, they had one for an opening for a fall type menu that was going to open, I believe it was December, and then all the construction stuff pushed back. So we went to Paul and said, hey, Paul, you need a spring menu now? So start at it. And they were already creating some of the things, but it was a lot of fun. So him and his crew and Chef Lenny Longo in the back, they worked very, very hard to put together a menu that's for more of a spring type menu. Having said that, what that means is they will be doing some menu change outs, maybe 6 months into the year, depending on what the vegetables and the proteins are going through and things like that. But any good restaurant will buy season stuff that's within season where it's going to be the best. And then he'll be adding specials to the menu as well that goes within season to be able to offer some different choices. So as you see these things come in and come to play, that's where some of this is going to happen at.
Mark, we have some questions from our television audience.
Oh, okay. I'll open it up. Go for it.
Great. Where can we go for something light like a sandwich?
The sandwich still be available in the grill, like we talked about before. So the grill, as we're opening this, the grill itself will be available to have lighter items, lighter fares like the sliced ham sandwich, things like that are still available on the grill menu. There are some lighter things here if you look around the menu and we go through the Indigo, but it's not going to be like a tuna sandwich or a grilled ham and cheese. You won't see those type of things on these menus. It's not designed that way. Those will still remain in the grill space, which the grill is designed for that.
Where can we get breakfast at Inspirata Pointe?
Inspirata Point will not have breakfast available. Breakfast will be made available, continued in the Oak Room for now until the grill gets completely remodeled. Once the grill is remodeled, then breakfast will go back into the grill area, and we'll do full-on breakfast like we had before, or only expanded. I think she's working on some new items right now. Gloria and the chefs are working on some different items. But breakfast will be in the grill as it was before. We do have, in the remodel on phase 1 or phase 2, on the coffee shop area, there'll be like, pastries and coffees that you'll be able to get there in the morning for like a continental type thing. If you choose to get something there, that will be available on this side of the campus as well.
And what are the hours of the dining venues at Inspirata Point?
The hours for the dining venues, for Copper Skye, it opens up at 11:30, I believe it is, and it will end up closing at 8 o'clock. You have 4 to 8 is your dinner hour, 11 at, say, 3 o'clock is more like lunch. The Indigo Kitchen opens up at 4 p.m., closes at 8, which is the dining menu you have in your hand there as well. And then Azul opens 4 to 8, and that will be open Thursday through Saturday to begin with. And if it's needed more days per week, we will increase that to 5 days a week, depending on the amount of reservations that's being taken at the time for the space, because we want to offer you as many different dining venues at different alternative times as we possibly can. You won't find many duplicated items anywhere across the campus. So you have that flexibility. If I want a grilled cheese, I need to go here. If I want a halibut steak, I need to go here. There's things like that you're going to find throughout the campus. And it's also a different price point for you. That's going to help along the way. Any others?
One more.
Okay.
What restaurants will have buffets?
We have, when we get completely done with the remodel, I'm not sure, have all of you seen the names for all the new remodeled dining venues? Have you looked through the paperwork? And it's been out there for quite some time. If you haven't, the Oak Room, that's currently the Oak Room, will be called Sunray. That dining space will have, it's not really buffet, it's kind of a pseudo-type dine-in service, but you'll be able to make different selections. But to have chafing dishes and things like that, you won't see chafing dishes out in a dining space any longer. It's going to be more of a, you can go by and choose your items, but it's not going to be the same style. Does that make sense? Perfectly, it's just about as clear as mud, right? We will make that more clear as we go through the whole dining process and give you more of visuals so you can see what that's going to be like when it comes closer for that area to be remodeled, because that's in phase 2. But to have right now, this particular buffet that we're doing will last all the way through the first phase of the grill when the grill is done, and then we'll have the IP open at that time. Once the grill's open back up, then we'll shut down that site. Then there will be no buffet during that time frame. As the Oak Room is being remodeled, there won't be one available during that time frame. Yes? But the question was, does that mean the only place we'll be able to eat over here would be the grill during that period? Are you meaning when the time that the Oak Room is closed to be remodeled? This site will be open for dining within the grill area, and that will go till 6 o'clock. But we also have the IP dining will be open also during that time frame. We'll have it open, the IP in Copper Skye is open for lunch, okay? This side, that is correct. That is correct. Yes. We just have to do it in phases. That's why there's only one side open at a time. But what we're offering is full-on meal from breakfast through dinner in the grill during that time frame. So there'll be a full day of meal period and full meal offering in the grill during the time that the Oak Room is closed for remodel. And there'll be specials going out through there, so it won't be just the grill food. There'll be specials like Gloria's done in the past and such, so you'll have different options.
My question is, we now have a daily allowance, shall we say,
Yes.
for our dining dollars.
Okay.
Once the grill is open and the Oak Room is closed, where will we be able to go and eat for that amount on a daily basis?
So the allotment that you receive, you'll have a monthly it's a monthly allotment based on a daily meal program, right? So the idea is it's a meal that you are to receive 1 meal a day. Where that meal takes place will be totally at your discretion, because you have the ability to have the meal within the grill, you'll have the ability to have the meal within the dining space here, and you could collectively have easily enough get 2 meals in that location, even with your dining dollars going through, depending on what you get, because the size of the portions within this are easily splittable between 2. So when you go into an area, your items that you have, if you like something or the other one likes it, it's the same as going to the grill for a meal. You could have 1 meal there and then have another meal within the Indigo kitchen. But specials will also be available. I want to make sure you understand that it's not just the grill sandwiches, it's not just grill, it's not just a burger. You'll have other options available within the grill while the oak room is being remodeled that will fit within your dining dollar allotment. That oak room will be completely within that dining dollar allotment. That room is going to be designed so any meal coming out of that space will meet your daily allotment the way it stands. So you would never have to change your process. If you're able to go through and have all your meals throughout the entire month within your dining dollar allotment you currently have, when that area opens back up, you'll be able to do the same. So it will remain. Paul's menu will be designed around that, because we also have residents coming in from any one of the assisted living areas, or they come in from Elegante Point Apartments, right? They'll come in and they have their meal there as well, and that allotment is the same as yours. So it needs to maintain that so both IL and AL residents can get that daily meal for that price, and we're well aware of that. So that will be able to happen.
When are the Inspirata Point restaurants going to be open, or did I miss that?
Right now, my crystal ball says right around the end of April. So closer to May. So I can't honestly give you the date because I don't have it yet. I'm getting as close as I can get. You know, I think realistically, if I had to put a date, May 15 maybe.
Mark, how long will the oak room remodel take? How long will that oak room be closed before Sunray opens?
The estimated time frame, if I remember the schedule, was 8 months. Is that right? Or was it 9? I think, and part of the reason for that is the coffee shop and the other dining space behind it are all in one part of the phase, which also includes part of what's going on in Cactus Pub, because that's now becoming part of Sunray as it moves up. So the space gets enlarged, and so that's where part of it is. But I believe it's almost an 8-month process, if I'm not mistaken. That's why I say we have to have more options available for you to be able to dine in during that time frame that fit within your dollar amount when that specials and all that stuff come about, in order to make it work for you as individuals and residents going through the process. Yes, any other questions before we get to the next menu?
One more from our television audience.
Okay.
Will the new buffet in Sunray allow us to see the food and choose like we do now?
Absolutely not. Why would you want to see it? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Just need to lighten this up a little bit. Everybody's, you know. No, absolutely not. Absolutely will. You'll be able to visit. You'll be able to see the food prior to making the selection. The way we anticipate it to be done, and I didn't want to get into this whole thing about the new build, but so if we can stick to this, that'd be great. But I will answer one more question and give you more of an idea about what Sunray is going to be from what we have at this point, what we believe it will be. Sunray, due to the price point needing to be able to hit, needs to be pretty close to your buffet type of service, but not a buffet, okay? So what I mean by that is you're not going to have all these Schaefers out in the middle of the floor, and you're not going to have all these different drink stations around the floor that you have now. We're going to be a whole lot classier than that. And so as you go through and look through and walk through the area, you're going to be able to identify the different types of food you want, or you could let the server know that's what I want and it will be brought to you. It's kind of like we've done in the past, but Chef Paul will have specials there available. There's going to be different stations available there. You know, one week it may be all Italian, one week it may be all Mexican food, one week it may be Mexican food and you have nothing else, no other choices. It's still going to be within your price range that you want to be. What's going to help that along is, and what has helped it in the past, is comments coming from the residents letting us know what your likes and dislikes are within that space, and then how often you'd like to have them. I remember there was a time after Paul first came here, residents said, you know what, we love turkey. We want turkey all the time. Uh-huh. Until we did it. And then about 3 months in, it's like, you guys own a turkey farm? What's up? So be careful what you ask for. You know, we're willing, we listen, we truly do, and we want you to get the things you're looking for. But at the same time, right now, today's a good example. People said, well, I want to have my ribs, but I can't come on this day. Okay, we'll do them 2 days in a row. Well, yeah, but you didn't have it on the day I could come. Okay, let's have everybody send me your schedule and tell me when we should put them out there. So we put them 2 days in a row, and we ran out of ribs about 12 o'clock. And I, as the food service director, was really upset about that because I wanted to go get some ribs as well. So, but anyway, it's just things like that. It's very hard to identify what fits within your schedule and taste in order to get everyone satisfied when you're looking at over 400 people and each one of you have a different opinion. So when we offer it 2 days in a row, if you really like something, go on the first day. Get it, because we got an abundance of it, okay? On the second day might not be the case. But we are really trying to get you what you want and to fit within your price point. And the way we think we're going to be able to do that is we change the design of the sunray in order to accommodate what all of you have been telling us. We really like the buffet because we like to see what we're getting. Okay, but we don't want to call it a buffet. It's got to be something, you know, give me something different. And so, but it will get you what you're looking for as far as viewing the items, and it will be within the price point of the money you receive on your daily allotment. And I hope that's really what you're looking for, because that's what we heard. Okay, so we designed that whole space around what you told us, because the initial design was not that way. The initial design was to go to a full-on table service, menu at the table, going to tablecloths, going to this, going to that, and it's like, that's not what you're looking for. So we redesigned it, and now we think we've got it down, and it's too late if it's not, because it's already on, we're there. So anyway, let's get on to the other piece, and I'll get through this, and you will have a meeting about all the new venues coming up when the remodel is done. They'll give you the menu itself, time of day, service techniques, and what's going to happen with it, okay? Anything else on that before I move to the menus again? Come on, you got to laugh a little. Give me something. Yes, okay, go ahead.
Will there also be pub service when all that remodeling is going on?
Oh, you got to have booze. That's will there be pub service? Absolutely. You know, we've got even when the Sunray is closed down, we've got portable bars to handle just that. we bought 2 brand new ones. They will be rolling down the hallways if we need to. Don't quote me on that one, okay? But I got to keep up with the liquor license. You know, keep me out of trouble. Keep Kendra and the board out of trouble. More like it. She didn't hear that. See that? I'm good. Okay, so let's move on to the next venue here. This, like I say, you're going to see some food here and some pictures coming up. These are specialty pizzas that Paul and his team have put together. And I can't tell you how hard they worked on the crust that's in this piece, but it's amazing. They're making their own dough for the pizza. They're making their own sauce. It's a wonderful thing. And so that was the lunch area. You're going to come into now and see the dinner side of the Copper Skye. And so you can see the dinner menu. It goes from 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Here's the appetizers that you have. There's a cheese plate. There's boneless wings, which I'm glad we didn't call them buffalo. There's a big old thing about buffalo wings right now and going across the news. It's really crazy. Then sweet chili cashew tofu. So we got calamari, I got baba ganache, baba ganache, ganoush ganache. Oh, ganache, that's a chocolate. What am I thinking? Yeah. So anyway, then go into the pizzas again, and then here's your burgers. But we have grill where you won't be spicy, and remember, the grill is open from, the regular grill is open by the Oak Room all the time that we're going through this process to order your burgers through the grill, so you'll get your regular burgers. And then next, going into this, you're gonna see a few pictures of the items themselves. So that's the sweet chili chicken burger.
Mark,
Yes.
I think you should take a moment to let them know that these are actual pictures that we took here on our
Oh,
property.
yeah, this is the actual display of the item that's coming to the table when you order the item. It's the board. The only difference is we were able to get a different board on the outside because of the rough cut on the outside, but otherwise, what you're seeing are the dishes. We wanted to make sure that when we presented it the way it's actually going to be done at the table. Because you eat with your eyes first, and if it doesn't look good on the plate, on the presentation, it really doesn't set well with people. So you want to make sure it looks good. So as we go through this entire presentation, you're going to see all the various different colors and shapes of dishes. It's just not white plateware. Thank you, Gretchen. There's a calamari that a lot of people really enjoy. That will be available in the location at the end. This has, if I keep my hand off this mouse pad, I'd be all right. Here's your boneless barbecue mango chicken wings. Again, it's been a long time in developing the menu, and we've received a lot of really good feedback from the folks involved in tastings as well. This next item is the Indigo Kitchen. The different salads and soups that are on the menu. The one thing that people say, well, what's with the price? Well, what we heard all the way through the process is people say, well, I've always got so much dining dollars left, I can't use it anywhere. Well, now being able to use the dining dollars on this and use them for your guests, it gives you the opportunity to design your meal plan and your month around where you want to eat, when you want to eat, and how you want to eat. So if you felt, I want to go to the grill and I'm going to have maybe, a couple of breakfasts over there in the grill, and I'm going to take my friends out for the next couple of weeks, or they're going to take me out. I've got a couple of days that's still on my dining dollars. Now I can go to anywhere I want, and I can invite them over here. So it gives you a lot of flexibility in how you use your dining dollars and the type of food you want to eat, when and where you want to eat it. And if you remember the question about adding the toppings for $1, that was the one here. Can I get all these for $1? That's what that comment was regarding. The great thing about, if you notice on some of these menus as we go through these, the ability to add a protein to any of the salads gives you the ability to take one type of item and make it into 4 different types of entrees at the switch of a protein, or not put a protein, or combine the proteins. I mean, you have a bunch of different options to make different meals as you go through the process. I know in our menus currently, we probably have about 31 to 32 different menus that or items you can put together off on our menus pretty quickly if you just take a few minutes to look through it and say, you know what, I can mix and match this, or mix and match that, or I can have a full-on vegetable salad if I want, and it doesn't cost me extra because it's part of my 4 options. So I blend it in together, next thing I go, I got a total different meal. So it's a lot of things, it's creativity too, while you're going through the process. And having these available to you using a QR code or available on your computer to be able to look at and plan your meals and dine ahead, it really helps a lot. when you think about doing the process. You have a question?
Yes, Mark, we have a few questions from our
Okay.
television audience.
Okay?
The first question is, can you go through some of the plain items at Indigo Kitchen that don't have a lot of spices in them? Preferably no spices.
Preferably none. Well, that menu's not available then. Not, no, I mean, to say no spices, we're gonna have some type of spice in just about everything you have. So I think you have to go from an individual standpoint, what your system has the ability to take or that you can tolerate, because a spice is also pepper. You know, I mean, as simple as pepper, but some people can't have pepper at all. You know, and so for your own individual, you need to look at that. And we have nutritional books available for you, and we can get you all the ingredients of things if you need it. But to go through and try to identify something without a spice at all, that'd be very, very challenging. Yes.
When the Oak Room is closed, will there be an 11:25 menu option in the grill?
When the Oak Room is closed, will there be an 11:25 menu option in the grill? The odds are probably yes, based on a special. Okay, so Paul's very, very creative between him and Francel and Gloria and the team they have. I guarantee you they can find things to meet within that price range of the meal. That's not going to be an issue. Just keep in mind when you're buying a meal from the grill, the way it's set up right now, you're going to buy your beverage separate, so that's a separate cost. So when you're buying it in the Oak Room, when it's going through an all-inclusive, everything's included in that cost within the dining space. It's not the case when you go to the grill because we end up buying items that are bottled beverage that goes out like that, so it's a little different. So you have to plan around that as well. Like I say, your piece is figure out your dining dollars and how the best to use them. Any other? Okay. Here's your entrees that are in the Indigo kitchen. As you'll notice as we're going through, you're going to see a couple different things. You have the filet that's a 5-ounce filet going in, and you have the chicken mole, and you have the British fish and chips. When you go into that, when you get in to see the chips, the fish, that is a northern pike. I think that's a northern, or I mean walleye pike, not a northern pike, walleye pike. That is the actual fish that's in the fish and chips, and you'll see that on the plated up presentation. And then when you get into the Azul on the filet is a prime, USDA prime, and it's also in the prime meat that's in the salad, so you'll see that also. So here's the Indigo kitchen as far as some pictures of the plated food. That is a chicken mole. Those of you who like mole are going to love this dish. It's absolutely marvelous. If you've never had it, try it. You'll be surprised. If you can handle a little bit of spice, it's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Yes. Let me see. I'm going back. I'm going to get up right now. Yeah, it's not on there, but it will be because it has a little bit of a spice, but it's not much. So there may be one to go on it. I think what you would want to probably do is just ask to taste the mole sometime when they go through the process. Because I didn't think it was very spicy at all, but some people may. This is the British fish and chips. I don't know, we have this English guy over here that just says, you know, I got to have this. That's a great presentation. It's got the mushy peas, and the chips are house-made as well. So it's truly a traditional British fish and chips. Other than the type of fish being used, and Paul's like, no, we got to have this one. It needs to be able to stand up, and it's a really good presentation. It holds well. It's a great product. Yes, and that is a whole fillet that's on that side for that fish and chips. Here's the Asian beef salad. That also is just wonderful. It's been marinated, and it's just great flavoring. And that is the plate that it will be on also. So it plates well. It presents well.
Mark,
Yes.
will there be an increase in the $11.25 that the residents receive?
We are not increasing the daily allotment from where it is currently, due to what everyone's told us over the past, I don't know how many years. I can't spend my money now, so I have to buy all these things and take them. Why do I have to always buy ice cream bars? Well, as I've been telling everybody for about the last 2 years, I will help you spend your dining dollars. I will help you do that. And it will do it in a healthy way, and you're gonna get the product you want. And now by adding the fact you can bring your guests to the dining space, it will allow you to do that and show off where you actually live. And I think you're gonna have such a good response, not only from your company and your guests and things, but I think you're gonna enjoy the food that you're getting as well. And then continuing to have all these different options. I don't know anywhere where you're gonna get the number of dining venues that we're gonna have here, along with the different options available to you. It'd be tough to find. You have another question?
I do. Mark, the prices seem rather high. I'm concerned about my dining dollars going very quickly. How do you suggest I manage my dining dollars?
The question was, if you didn't hear it, question was, it was actually a statement and then a question. I feel the prices are really high, and I feel I'm gonna go through my dining dollars very quickly. How do you suggest I do that? I can tell you for the last, I don't know how many years now, that I've never had a resident come to me and say, I'm having difficulty spending my dining dollars. I have too much, or I have people coming to me all the time telling me, I have difficulty spending it, right? I'm not spending all these dollars. And so what I do is I buy all these cookies and I give them away to my friends, or I take them over and I give them to a shelter or whatever, you know, things like that. So you can spend your dining dollars easily enough here, but you can also control it. You can be able to do that based on your meal types, right? If you go for breakfast, it costs one thing. If you go for a light lunch, it goes for another price. You're on a monthly allotment. And to say that you're never off this campus for any more than a day or a time, I think that'd be hard pressed. So that money, when the day that you weren't here, you didn't spend that money. So you still have that money available to you throughout your entire month. And so there are times people go away, well, the odds are you're not gonna be gone for the entire 30 days within your allotted period, right? And so you don't get a credit back for that money, so now you have an option to do that. There's a lot of different ways that you're gonna be able to manage those dollars, and I would venture to say I have people that manage their dollars down to the penny. I guarantee it will be the same way. So I believe that as you're moving forward, as you go through, you will find ways to be able to use it in a way that works best for you, and you're still able to get the things that you need and want within your dining program. Any other questions? Yes, back in the back. Paul, who's got the mic? Chris is taking a nap now. Did you eat a big lunch too?
My question is, how often is the menu for the entrees going to rotate?
Well, what we're planning on doing, and Paul can chime in here, but the idea is to probably run it for about 6 months, and then also look at seasonal stuff, because it's not going to be a full change out of the menu anyway. But there's certain things I know that prior to opening, Paul had a menu set for the winter. All of a sudden, or prior to the change, it was supposed to be December, right? So he had this great menu plan for all these winter vegetables, winter salads, all this stuff. And then it came, well, you're not opening in the winter, Paul, you got to change it up. So they had to go back and create all new items for this type of year, for the season. So you're looking at salads that are different, you're looking at certain vegetables that are different. Some entrees, not many that are going to change, just because of the fact that most of the items you can get year-round. There are some things that are better different times of year, you know, halibut, things like that, your lamb, things like that, and different pricing structures. So as we look at that, I would say probably 2 times a year that you might see the change, but it's going to be minor. But specials will be rotated into here too to help offset some of those costs as well, that you may not want to have that thing that's $22 that night. Maybe it'll only be something that's, you know, 15 or whatever it may be. So that's the direction we're going with the menu change. As you can see, this is now the Azul, and as you go in, you have the items that are. Get out of here again. Sorry about that. You have your French onion soup and lobster bisque. French onion has been a staple for us for a long time. So is lobster bisque. They do a really great job with that, so they're going to continue on those soups. And as Paul gets suggestions and things coming from people. He will also adjust different soups and stuff that come out for that space. The great thing about the Azul is also the seating area. So when you're in the Azul, and if you go to the chef's table, if you happen to reserve the chef's table, you can actually be looking into the kitchen, and they have a horseshoed out area that's designed specifically for the Azul kitchen only for that dining room. And you can look through the window into the kitchen and watch them preparing your meal. It's really a neat experience if you've never experienced anything like that. It goes back to the old times when they had, you had chef's tables within hotel kitchens or whatever, if you had the opportunity to do that, or in nightclubs that had it before in the past. Durant's, you go through the kitchen right now to get to the dining space if you've been in Durant's before. On the Thai beef here, you'll see it's got a USDA prime. It is prime beef that's going to be in this particular product, and there's a prime steak on the menu too. So in the one you saw in Indigo is choice. The steaks that are in Azul are prime. It's prime cuts. Like you would go into Arrowhead Grill or Capitol Grill, it's a prime cut of meat. It's not a choice cut. And so, of course, you pay the price for it, but it's a quality product. That same USDA prime is in the Thai spicy beef salad. It does have a pepper by it, so you can be sure it does have a little spice to it. But if you can handle a little, if you can handle just a little bit, maybe you might really enjoy that. The flavors just pop. The wedge salad, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sorry, it's also a dish that you can order without the chili as well, so you don't have to have the spice in it. However, it really does enhance the flavor of the dish.
And as we continue to go along the areas, there's going to be questions that still continue to come in. So as we get those, we'll post those as well to help you along the way.
Mark,
Yes.
is there going to be new equipment that's going to ensure that the food is hot?
We'd like to hope so, that it maintains the heat. So the answer is yes, we have new equipment that's coming in a bunch of different spaces. And I'm assuming at this time they're talking about the oak room where we've had some challenges with the with the chafing dishes. They're not, and I can't help but repeat myself, but chafing dishes are designed for a party that lasts about 2 hours. That's what they're designed for. We're trying to sit here and use them in an event that's going all day long and change out the food constantly as fast as we can. And then all of a sudden we got a party of 30 people that walk through the door, and that pan that had 15 orders in it now has got to be cooked in the back, but we didn't know those 30 people were coming through. So now we got 20-minute wait. So we either get a wait period or we get a hold period. And either way we lose when it comes to that type of chafing dish. So when we move the new design, it will have equipment that's designed specifically to hold the food hot, and so it stays appealing and fresh. So yes, that will be the case. As you can see, we have the sea scallops. These are the U10s. For those of you, U10 means there's under 10 scallops to a pound. So you can imagine how big these scallops are that go to this. So they're really amazing when they're seared and cooked off. Here's large plates. We mean large plates is standard order. This is a 6-ounce filet. This is the USDA prime I was telling you about. Then there's the lamb, and it's roasted Moroccan lamb, spiced lamb. It's an outstanding product as well. Again, it's one of those things, if you can't have the spice, let them know. They'll take care of that. They'll grill it for you, but we'll need to know that ahead of time. But you can ask the server, and the server will give you the information at the table, so you'll understand how that's being prepared. The Wellington that's on this, first thing people think, well, is that a beef Wellington? No, that's a vegetarian Wellington. It has vegetables stuffed in the puff pastry, and we've had really good response from that item. It's a very, very good item. And I think as you look at these, as you're going through them, and you really have time to examine, and you say to yourself, okay, like I say, you're out of the building. I'm gone for 2 or 3 days out of the week. I'm not going to be there. I've saved enough to go to the Azul for that night. It works itself out. And here's some of the items as far as the pictures. then these are the actual items of the Azul. That's the lamb, and that's the presentation of it.
Mark,
Yes,
the scallops that are in Azul for $38?
yes.
How many scallops are on the plate?
There are 4. There are 4, and they're about this big. They're pretty good size and about like that. And if you like scallops, well, I just think food's amazing, as you can tell. But we also have halibut on the menu, and chef's going to be running in some different fish that we're going to have available to us as well, because as we look in the pricing structure across the board, you know, we still have, some of the reason for the pricing is we still have to maintain a certain amount of budget, but we need to make sure as we go through that process that we don't underprice it so much that it's really being subsidized across the board. I don't think there's anyone in this audience that would think that we could produce a meal for, like any of these, for $11.25. If you do, please let me know where it's at. We'll buy from them and we'll resell. The truth of the matter is what it costs us to produce this meals on average across the board. Our average meal cost right now is running about $20 to $28 per meal with all things included. We're talking about supplies and chemical and things like that, food costs, waste, all those things included, then you throw in the labor. And so therefore, when you think about that, you say, well, but we only pay $11.25. Yes, that's where that subsidization comes in. We call it subsidized. It's being subsidized out of all the other categories in your monthly service fee that are coming through to help pay for the other parts of it, right? And food service gets a certain particular amount of that. My job is to provide the best quality of food I can and stay within a budget that makes sense and still not hit you with such high pricing on your monthly service fee that it's coming there, but allow you to have that one meal a day across the board anywhere you want to have it. Because that's really what we're supposed to provide, right? One meal per day is what we provide. How and where you get that meal is totally at your discretion. We just placed a dollar amount on it. It says now you can buy this meal anywhere you want in any of these spaces, however you want to spend your dollars. And we leave that totally up to you. But we provide the ability to get one meal a day anywhere across the campus. And that's what we're wanting to do. But like I say, I think it would be hard pressed for anyone to go anywhere and find the extent of what we have or will have when this is all done, to have the variety of food at the price points you have it at and still not have to pay an abundance of extra money in the long run going through the process. Yes, ma'am.
One word question.
Yes.
Desserts?
We have none. There you go. That's what I need. I need some laughing. I get tired of hearing myself talk, I got to tell you. Desserts. We will have a menu that's set up for desserts only. And then we have the desserts with cordials on them too, especially for Azul. So we're not getting rid of the cordials that we've had in the arbors before. Like you have you've got, what is it? The one that we do the most over there is, where's Anthony? Bailey's Irish cream, right? You'll do a Bailey's. You may have something like that on a cordial. But you'll have different things. You'll have different small drinks that you'll be able to get in that area, but there's a lot of desserts that will be offered on its own menu, okay? And you've got to try some of the goat cheese ice cream that oh my gosh. Oh, we make it here. Paul makes it right here. It's being made right here. He can make all kinds of different things. We've got this. Just ask him sometime about a machine called a Paco Jet. He'll have plenty to tell you. Yes, ma'am.
Mark, it seems that Copper Skye is the only option for lunch at Inspirata Pointe. Are there any plans to eventually open the other restaurants for lunch at Inspirata Pointe?
At this time, no, because we have the Copper Skye open for lunch from 11, I think it's 11 or 11:30, all the way through to 8 p.m., okay? And it will have a luncheon type menu, but it's a good sized menu. But we also have the grill available for lunch all the way through. And so that's where we have that alternative. So you'll have an option to go someplace for lunch and or breakfast is the grill, but lunch and or Copper Skye or the grill itself. That will be available. And we don't have any plans for expanding that right now, but when everything gets open, who knows what may change. Yes, ma'am. We got a question right here. We got one in the back first, and we'll be right to you. Yes, ma'am.
This question goes back to the Oak Room. With the remodeling of the Oak Room, are you going to be able to enlarge the kitchen or not? I know the last remodel you had, you were able to do that, but is there any room to do anything with the kitchen?
Well, the short answer, which I know you'd probably like, the short answer is no. However, because we're moving the equipment, that's the weight station that runs in that kitchen, if you've ever gone on one of my tours, you'll know that the whole wall on the left-hand side as you walk around through the kitchen area, that's all weight station. Well, when all the weight stations get pulled out of the kitchen, that automatically gives the kitchen more square footage, which allows them more space for all their stuff, which will increase the footprint for them significantly. So to that part, yes. Yes, ma'am, right here. He's gonna give you the microphone.
Will there be specials?
Absolutely, in all places. So chef will have specials that will go into space for the new dining space, which was Sunray. He'll have specials in the grill as well, and he's gonna be doing specials in the new dining venues as far as Indigo. Now, that won't start off right away the first week or two, but that will be the case. Yes, got one right over here, and then we'll be right over to you.
Do you ever suggest having some plate warmers to keep our plates not so cold when we go through the buffet line?
The question is, do we ever have plate warmers? In the space that's being developed for the Oak Room, there will be plate warmers coming into that space. They're under-counter heat lamps. We also have them in the new building as well. But the traditional plate warmers, and that I need to make you aware of, a lot of places have plate warmers they call them low raters, and they're heated. What happens with that, when you get moisture in there and they're under counter, you also have a haven for bugs. And when that happens, that's where they tend to populate, okay? And so I personally would avoid at all costs having a low-rated heated plate aerator, but I will have heated plates above under heat lamps to help along that process, okay? I always worry about heated plate aerators. It becomes a problem, but you do need to have warm plates.
Will these menus be on the portal as the other menus are?
Absolutely.
And
Let me repeat it real quick. Will these menus be on the portal as the other menus are? And the answer is yes.
That's great. Will nutritional information be available for these items and also for all the specials, including the grill?
We will get as much of the nutritionals posted on everything as we can. There are some things it's difficult to get because if we buy ingredients that are boxed, we have to pull the label off that box and they don't always get you what you're looking for. But in most cases, the answer to your question would be yes, and you'll find it in the green notebook that's currently in the lobby of the main building. And if you were in the Elegante Apartments, it would be over by the library area. But they're in the green notebook, available a page there for everyone to be able to take for that given day. And so you can take it with you so you don't have to stay there and study it. The grill, her question was, but not for the grill now. Let me find out from Gloria. She can get that out. She can go based on the specials because she's always had her specials. She already has the nutritionals for. So if she puts the book back out, we'll be able to find it through that book again because I don't think she's ran any new specials lately that I'm aware of. So, but you do have her ribs that we've had in the main dining rooms. There's certain things we'll get and some we can't, some we will not. The requirement for to do that, you're supposed to have it on the menu anywhere from 60 times a year, and we put it out as a courtesy, so we'll do what we can to get them posted, okay? Yes, ma'am.
Mark, in any of the dining venues at Inspirata Pointe or the renovated dining venues on the main campus, will any of them have a salad bar?
In any of the dining spaces, including the remodels, have a salad bar? The answer will be no. However, I want to let you know that as you walk up to the grill, we have a create your own salad with the grill staff as we're moving forward to create different salads. We'll have some that are already pre-made, but you'll be able to kind of create your own as you're going through with certain things, but there's only a couple of those. So for the most part, they're standard, they're already pre-made and ready to go. But there are some salads that you will be able to make almost to order, but not quite. But there is no salad bar, I assure you.
So I would like to talk about the elephant in the room,
Which is,
staff.
yes. What would you like to know?
Well, we have all this coming and, chefs and dishwashers and people that are going to serve us. And it seems like a lot more than we need, than we have now. And I was just wondering how we're getting them.
How you're going to stock and supply all the staff in all the different
Right.
buildings.
Right.
That's why the varied hours, okay? Some of this, part of it has to do also, we brought in the robots early, as you'll know, to test them out in the various areas to see how well they run. They do support the staff in some of the areas, and in the Indigo, they're gonna help out significantly as well, because they don't go back in the kitchen, but they can go to the dining space to get the product to the server and have the server delivered to the table. That helps on that side of it. As far as for dishwashers and cooks, we're still looking like everyone else. However, because of the menu design and the time of day each item goes out, that's what's going to help us balance out our staffing. We're still going to be looking for staff. We're always going to be looking for staff. We'll never go to 100% filled. Anyone that's able to do that in this day and time, hats off, but I don't believe anybody's able to do that. For the life of me, can't understand why people don't want to work anymore, because the jobs are available and there's a lot of people out there collecting money. As long as the government's willing to dish it out, that's a whole nother topic, but we will do what we can to staff the buildings as they're open, when they're open, to get what we need done. Any other items, questions, comments? Nothing? Did anybody ask about, we talked about the transport, all right, that's it, all right, great, I'm good. I'm ready for a drink of water. Maybe a glass of whiskey at this point. No, I'm kidding. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. I hope we answered all your questions. Get the questions to us if you can, if you need more, okay? Thank you all.